everyone, and welcome to another episode of Monday Shots. I'm your host Khyati, and as always, we are back again to discuss and dive deep into the maritime world of shipping. In today's episode, we'll be shifting our focus to the Pacific region, a key player in the global maritime scene. And to discuss the same, we have with us three distinguished guests from our Singapore office. Let me introduce them to you. So first up, we have Mr. Chen, overseeing chartering and market developments for the Pacific region. Hello, Chen. Welcome to Monday Shots.
Hey, Khyati. Very nice to have been here today.
Great. Next up, we have Miss Eunice Vaughan, again overseeing chartering for the Pacific region. Hi, Eunice.
Hi, Khyati. Thank you for having us here today.
And last up, we have Mr. Sam Wee, who has been involved in managing the Hindi segment for the Pacific region. Hello, Sam. Welcome to Monday Shots.
Hi, Khyati. Thank you for having me here. It's good to be here.
Great.
Thank you.
Once again, welcome all three of you on Monday Shots. It's a pleasure to have you all three here with us today. And without any further ado, let's quickly get on to our discussion. So Chen, my first question goes to you. As we know that China plays a very crucial role in the global shipping and trade market. So with all the recent shifts in the global trade and economic developments, how do you see China's economy is currently performing?
Thanks, Khyati. Indeed, China has been the driving force behind the dry bulk shipping market since the early 2000s. And now, recently, the Chinese economy has been slowing down since the pandemic. And now I have to say that the Chinese economy is facing significant challenges. Its economy is mainly grappling with two issues. The first one is the crisis in the real estate sectors, which had a widespread repercussions for many upstream and downstream sectors, from steel manufacture, constructions, to furniture and electrical appliances. And which in turn caused a high employment in China.
Oh, I see.
And the second issue is the enormous debt of local governments. The Chinese local governments have been investing a lot on infrastructure buildings by borrowed funds. And their main income was by selling land to property developers. Well, now with the crisis in the real estate market, this revenue has been diminished sharply, if not vanished entirely. So they are forced to either renegotiate with banks for extensions, and also how to take some measures to cut the cost, mainly by layoffs.
Okay, I understand. Thank you, Chen, for sharing those insights. Okay, so Eunice, coming back to you, shifting our focus a bit, the Middle East has been a hotbed of geopolitical tensions recently, as we all know. So given how interconnected global trade routes are, especially with the Pacific and the energy sector, how do these tensions in the Middle East affect the shipping market in your region specifically? And are you seeing any direct impacts or shifts in trade flows as a result of it?
Thank you for the question, Khyati. I would think that the Middle Eastern geopolitical tension will affect the two main trade routes, the Gulf of Aden and the Persian Gulf. So as for the Gulf of Aden, ship owners that are utilizing tonnages for long voyages between Pacific and Atlantic would prioritize safety more. So many will be rerouting their routes to go via Cape of Good Hope instead. So Cape of Good Hope will take about additionally 40% longer, which means this increases the ton-mile demand and increased fleet utilization duration, meaning that there would now be less vessels in the market and it may tighten the supply. Okay, so as for trips to the Persian Gulf, there are many head owners which disallow disponent owners from trading in the Persian Gulf. So for the few vessels or for the other vessels which do allow that, ship owners or disponent owners would now have to bear the risk of the heightened tensions, which also means bearing the cost of additional security measures, extra insurance costs, and all these will eventually lead to increased costs for the end users, which may then affect the trades in these regions for products which are discharging in these areas. So as for the bunker and marine fuels, prices will definitely see a lot more volatility and fluctuations, as there would be a lot of knee-jerk reactions to the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing these insights with us, Eunice. Thanks a lot. So Sam, now coming to you. So looking specifically at the Hindi segment that you look after, which plays a very vital role in Pacific trade and is less volatile as far as I know, do you think there's a growing need for more liquidity and freight forward agreements, FFAs that you say, in this segment? What are your views on this?
My answer for this question is a yes, because unlike bigger sizes, Handy FFA, like you said, it's a low liquidity.
Yeah.
So we don't really have a so-called safety measures for the period vessels that operators are taking, or the cargo COA that they are taking. So we definitely need more liquidity on the FFA. So we can take a position on the 4 cargoes are taking period ships. So there could be some safety measures as well. So yeah, my answer is a bit short, but I mean, yes, we definitely need more liquidity on the FFA, so we can actually play like bigger sizes.
Okay, thank you, Sam, for sharing. Thank you. So Chen, coming back to you. So again, I would like to go back to China's economy. We have seen various government stimulus measures being introduced to spur growth and stabilize certain sectors. And from your perspective, what kind of impact are these stimulus efforts having on the shipping industry, especially in terms of trade volumes and overall demand in the Pacific region? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, recently the Chinese government has been taking a lot of measures and stimulus policies to try to stabilize the economy by injecting more liquidity to both the stock market and the property market, try to increase the domestic consumptions, and also try to bail out the local governments and property developers. Also, they are taking measures to encourage export products such like electrical vehicles overseas, and leveraging excess capacity of infrastructures through the initiative of the Belt and Road to countries like Bangladesh, South Africa, West Africa, and some Mediterranean countries.
Okay.
By doing this, they're trying to correct the unemployment rate. And for those policies, I think the effect on dry bulk shipping market is mixed. On the positive side, definitely due to those measures, we will see more export from China, including those general cargoes and also steel cargoes, which means that for China market, we have more demand. Definitely, it's a good impact for shipping. But however, there are also negative implications. Like those policies, I think the best result should be just maintain the economy. By no means that we can see another wave of big import of China like we have seen in 2004 to 2008. The reason is first because in China there are already enough infrastructures, and the urbanization is nearly 70% already. So there's no such room for another wave. And second is that the government also try to avoid the past as before, which mainly relying on the property development and the infrastructure. They try to shift the path to other industries such like semiconductors, aerospace, and also advanced manufacturing. So we think this will cause the total demand for iron ore and coal generally declining, and which are by far the most majority of dry bulk cargoes. So in total, we think in the future years, the total demand in Pacific will gradually decreasing.
Decrease. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us, Chen. Thank you so much. Okay, so Eunice, coming back to you. Singapore has been considered one of the leading maritime hubs in the global shipping industry, right? Especially in the Pacific region. So in your view, what unique value does Singapore bring to the global shipping industry?
I would say Singapore's greatest asset is undoubtedly her geographical location, being the crossroads of the Pacific and Indian Ocean. So, but Singapore has not just rested on that advantage alone. You know, we have built a world-class port infrastructure,
Right.
highly efficient operations, a very strong regulatory framework, and I think all these ensures a very quick and reliable turnaround time for vessels. And additionally, on top of this, Singapore being the top world. So additionally, Singapore is also the world's top bunkering port with a record sales of 51.8 million tons last year. So with all that being said, I think in recent times there have been a lot of talks about the Kra Canal being constructed in the southern part of Thailand, which could potentially pose a threat to Singapore's location. But as that route would cut and save a lot of sailing time for vessels. But I would say Singapore, we have already established a very strong maritime ecosystem, and with our continued innovation, I don't think that would pose much of a challenge in the near future. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Eunice. Sam, coming back to you now. So looking ahead to 2025, with the Hindi segment often being considered less volatile compared to the other segments, what are your views on the market outlook for the coming year, 2025?
For next year, I am a bit bearish because even if US did a big cut and even China announced that they're gonna put massive stimulus, it doesn't really give a big effect in the market yet. Even if it does, it basically, I think that it's a simple economics concept that we need a more demand to cover all the supply, which means we need a more cargo to be there to cover all those open ships or all those coming vessels. But so far, it doesn't seem to be. And even I talked to a few traders in the market, and the cargo volume will be similar to the current year. So going forward, it doesn't really look positive. And we are actually having more supply for Handy segment. So I guess next year will not be so optimistic in that sense. So yeah, I am very bearish for the coming years. Yes.
Okay, I see, I understand. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so guys, last but not the least, so now before we close, I would love to hear from all three of you. Given that shipping is such a global industry, how do each of you manage communication and collaboration with colleagues in departments who are working across different time zones in different countries, in different setups? So you based in Singapore, and then there's Hamburg office and Dubai office, India office, US. So how do you guys coordinate and collaborate in different time zones?
I think that's why we fly to India office.
No, but like, are there any time constraints, or you feel, or like it's very smooth working, or like, what are your thoughts? All three of you can share your thoughts, of course.
I would say that maybe in other industries, maybe sending messages outside of office hours may be frowned upon. But I think shipping given how global shipping is, and it being about 24/7,
24/7.
I think we have come to an understanding whereby we can just send messages as per your work timing, and there's no pressure or obligation to reply immediately. If it's urgent, we'll make a phone call, but if it's not, then no pressure, you reply when you're available or when you're awake.
Yeah, right. Anything from your end, Sam?
I think Eunice did a perfect comment. So nothing to add, but basically what she says 24/7, right? So we don't really have a so specific, time zone,
Yeah.
like when in the office come to me during my office hour, I also, go to their office hour working. So it doesn't really, we don't have a time zone stuff. It's like 24/7. So yeah.
Right. Anything from your end,
Yeah,
Chen?
and these two of them said, it's also thanks to the instant messaging softwares. Like for our vessels, for each trip, we have a WhatsApp group with every related persons in the group. And if there anything happens or I need something, I just leave a message in the group, and then the person whom in charge will reply me when he saw it. And meanwhile, can keep everyone else on the same page. They know what is happening. So that's quite convenient.
Okay, great, great, great.
And also we have the Google Files. So we just share all the related documents like the vessel certificates in the shared folder. And everyone can fetch it by himself rather than ask your colleagues
Right.
in other office.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, all three of you, for sharing your thoughts on this. I believe we have covered a lot of ground today, from discussing China's economic landscape to geopolitical tensions in Middle East, the role of FFAs in the risk management, and Singapore's role as a key maritime hub. Once again, Chen, Sam, and Eunice, thank you so much for being with us on Monday Shots. It was a pleasure to host you today, and hope you, all three of you, had a great time like I did. And thank you for sharing all the great insights and your perspectives with me and with our audience today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you for taking time to
Thank
speak
you.
with
Thanks a
us.
lot.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do not forget to like and leave a review for us. Until next time, I'm your host Khyati signing off. Stay curious and stay connected. Goodbye.